Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jana Subilia, and I will be your reporter for today's afternoon. So, the topic I will discuss is all about the Rizal's frustration, bitterness, and their effects on his works.
Rizal frustration, bitterness, and their effects on his works. Introduction. Jose Rizal, a renowned Filipino nationalist and revolutionary, harbored deep frustration and bitterness towards the injustices and cruelty inflicted upon the Filipino people during the Spanish colonial era. His frustration stemmed from witnessing the suffering, oppression, and exploitation of his countrymen under Spanish rule. Rizal's bitterness grew as he experienced firsthand the discrimination, abuse, and limitations imposed on Filipinos by the colonial authorities. The effects of Rizal's frustration and bitterness were profound and reflected in his literary works, particularly in his novels Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo. These works were not merely literary creations but powerful tools through which Rizal sought to expose the harsh realities of colonial life, criticize the corrupt Spanish administration, and shed light on the plight of the Filipino people. Rizal used his writings to challenge the status quo, incite change, and inspire his compatriots to fight for justice and freedom. Rizal's frustration and bitterness fueled his passion for social reform and independence, making him a pivotal figure in the Philippine struggle for liberation. His work served as a catalyst for awakening national consciousness, instilling a sense of pride and unity among Filipinos, and laying the groundwork for the country's eventual quest for sovereignty. Rizal's legacy as a patriot, intellectual, and advocate for social change continues to resonate in the hearts of Filipinos, inspiring generations to uphold the values of freedom, equality, and justice. Jose Rizal is also known as a writer, doctor, linguist, scientist, and advocate for Filipino rights. The novels that Dr. Rizal wrote are Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo, influenced by frustrations and bitterness. Noli Me Tangere, romantic novel exposing injustices under Spanish rule, reflects Rizal's frustration with corruption and abuse of power. The second is El Filibusterismo, political novel expressing growing disillusionment with peaceful reform, protagonist plans violent uprising. And the third is Rizal's writings inspired Filipinos to fight for indignity, indicting Spanish colonial regime and clergy abuses. Jose Rizal, like many other heroes and visionaries, experienced numerous frustrations in his life, especially concerning the state of the Philippines under Spanish colonial rule. Some of the frustrations he experienced include are: Number 1. Colonial oppression. The colonial oppression was a Rizal's frustration and bitterness stemmed from the oppression colonial rule exposed by the Spanish authorities in the Philippines. This oppression fueled his desire for Philippine independence and influenced his works by highlighting the injustices and hardships faced by his fellow countrymen under colonial rule. So, Rizal witnessed injustices, abuses, and discrimination under the Spanish colonial rule. His writings are criticized the corrupt practices of the colonial government. His works Noli Me Tangere, Touch Me Not. This novel explores the injustices and abuse faced by Filipinos under Spanish colonial rule. It reflects Rizal's frustrations with corruption and abuse of power. And the second is social injustice. Rizal was deeply affected by the social injustice prevalent in Philippine society during his time. The disparities in wealth, education, and opportunities among the Filipino people fueled his anger and inspired him to advocate for social reforms through his writings and actions. So, the social injustice is all about Rizal expressed frustrations towards social inequality and injustices. It is being highlighted disparities in wealth, education, and opportunities. The El Filibusterismo, The Reign of Greed, Rizal's second novel, delves into the theme of social injustice, highlighting the disparities and inequities prevalent in the Philippine society. The third is the lack of meaningful reforms and improvements in the Philippines. Despite calls for change contributed to Rizal's frustration, he witnessed the stagnation and resistance to progress, which influenced his work to reflect the urgent need for reforms in various aspects of Philippine society. So, the lack of reforms is all about the Rizal advocate for meaningful reforms but was frustrated by the slow pace of change. It was desired more radical actions to address grievances. La Liga Filipina, the Philippine League, Rizal founded this political organization to advocate for reforms within the framework of peaceful means. However, it was short-lived due to political opposition and eventual shutdown by the authorities. And the fourth is personal sacrifices. Rizal's personal sacrifices, including his exile and eventual execution, underscored the extent of his commitment of the Filipino cause. So, the personal sacrifices is all about Rizal faced persecution, exile, and execution for his nationalist beliefs. His sacrifices is being contributed to his frustrations. Mi ultimo adios, my last farewell. Rizal's farewell poem expresses his sorrow and impending doom before his execution. It reflects his personal sacrifices and dedication to the cause of Philippine independence. So the number 5 is political betrayals. Rizal experienced betrayals from the individuals he trusted, particularly in the political sphere. This betrayal shattered his faith in the existing political system and highlighted the treachery and deceit that he witnessed, influencing his portrayal of political figures in his works. So, the political betrayals is all about Rizal was disappointed by division and lack of unity among Filipino leaders. The betrayal and infighting hindered progress in the independence struggle. The Philippines a Century Hence, essay where Rizal discusses the future of the Philippines and expresses frustrations with political betrayals. Number 6. Betrayal and disillusionment. The theme of betrayal and disillusionment is evident in Rizal's works, reflecting his own experiences and observations of the deceit and betrayal prevalent in society. These themes added depth to his narratives and characters, showcasing the complicities of human relationships and the consequences of betrayal. The betrayal and disillusionment is all about Rizal experienced personal and political betrayal leading to bitterness, disillusioned by lack of reform and betrayals by compatriots. To the Flower of Hindelburg, this poem reflects Rizal's feeling and disillusionment and betrayal after his time in Europe. Number 7. Despair and hopelessness. Rizal's exposure to the despair and hopelessness felt by many Filipinos under colonial rule deeply impacted by his works. He depicted the struggles, hardships, and despair faced by his people, while also weaving threads of hope and resilience amidst the bleakness, portraying the resilience of the Filipino spirit in the face of adversity. So, the despair and hopelessness. Some of Rizal's works conveyed a sense of despair about the future under colonial rule. Next is frustration with challenges and lack of progress lead to feelings of hopelessness. Filipinas dentro de 100 años. The Philippines within a century. Rizal's essay reflects his concerns about the future of the Philippines under continued colonial rule, expressing a sense of despair and hopelessness. Rizal, despite his frustrations and bitterness, remained committed to peaceful reform, education, and justice. His determination to bring change through writings and intellectual contributions impacted the Philippine quest for independence and social justice. His frustrations and bitterness motivated him to advocate for change, inspire resistance, and become a symbol of Filipino nationalism and independence. Conclusion. Jose Rizal's frustration and bitterness significantly influenced by his works, fueling his passion for reform and Filipino independence. His writings, characterized by depth and intensity, continue to resonate with readers today. Rizal's commitment to social justice, national identity, and the empowerment of the Filipino people remains a powerful legacy that inspires generations of Filipinos, shaping his work as a writer, activist, and patriot.